Okay, so it is time to talk about our dump assembly plumbing. So the previous owner's tank was smaller and he had it raised up on kind of this big shelf thing, and instead of having the hole on the side, it was underneath. And so he had a hole cut in the bottom of the bay and his gate valve just pulled out and it dumped straight down. So we wanted to reuse that hole rather than cutting another hole. So when we designed our tanks, we lined up this fitting with that hole, thinking, okay, well, we'll just, make a little elbow pipe that would go down the hole. We would get the sewer hose that has the bayonet style fitting and it just would twist onto that and we'd be good to go. So that's been our plan this whole time. So we have the assembly for that. We have the gate valve that's going to hook up to that. We have the elbow valve that can go down in there, and then we can get the sewer hose with the bayonet style fitting. All good. However, just recently, as we've been doing more research, we came across a bunch of reviews online for this sewer hose system called the Wastemaster. And we can go more into this later, but one of the main differences is the way that the hose attaches. Maybe there's a better picture over here on the side. Is with, oh, here we go. Is with a cam style fitting. And so instead of going on and twisting on like the bayonet style fitting, it just goes in, you clamp it on, and it's great. It doesn't, no leaks. The hose is really neat. It's all smooth on the inside, and it, you can get it, compress it really far and it'll hold in place. And it has this with the valve with the built-in donut to go down into your sewer line, the built-in handle, all of that. All the reviews on it were great. And man, the cam fitting sounded great. We've read lots of reviews of people with the bayonet fittings that don't love them. They break a little more easily, or they're just hard to get on there really tight. And so we thought, let's see if we can make this work. So we went ahead and ordered it, and actually here's the fitting for it. The problem is if we put this elbow piece in here, and that's going down in there, this gives us a couple of problems. So number one is we have to have room for those to be able to, open and close, which means we would have to cut more metal out of the bottom of the bus, which we really kind of don't want to do. It would also then hang down a few inches below the bus, making our clearance less, all of that. So we're trying to figure out what our best solution would be. And we can absolutely just continue on with our plan of using our elbow, going down through the bottom, reusing this hole, getting a bayonet style fitting, getting a hose that works with that. And that is absolutely no problem. We could still do that. But, I don't know. I'm not super strong, but I'm not wimpy either. But these are kind of tough to get on and off. Honestly, Juan's got arthritis in his fingers. And so I know as the years go on, these are going to be harder for him to do. We'd love for our kids to be able to help with stuff as much as possible. And they're just kind of, a little tricky to get on and off and to make sure that they're really tight. And we love the idea of this style fitting. It's just great. So we thought, okay, well, the other option is to not reuse this hole and we'd have this kind of fitting on here, and then this would just, instead of going down through the hole, this now just comes straight out and just sits here like this, and when we're ready to attach the hose, we just put it in, clamp it down. Now the only problem with that then is that when we're at a campground and we want to have this hooked up, that means now we have to leave the bay door partially open. Now we kind of measured it, we attached the hose to see, okay, how far would we really have to leave the door cracked open with the hose attached? And it's maybe 6 inches, kind of propped out a little bit. And you know, that's not ideal to have our door propped open at a campsite either, but I don't know, neither option is ideal. Neither one is perfect. And honestly, if we had this to do over again, what we may do is instead put this, when we were making the tanks, maybe we could have put this fitting over here, and then we could have put in an elbow, and then put this here going this way. Then we could have just had the hose come up through this existing hole and attach in. We wouldn't have had to have any problems. But we really, you know, we can't change the tanks now. Another option we could do is kind of reroute that, kind of do the same idea coming this way, but then and go out down here, but that would mean we'd have to drill another hole in the floor of the bus, and we really just don't want to do that. So I think our plan for now is going to be to go ahead and use this Wastemaster, have it come straight out like we talked about, and it just means that we have to prop the door open just a bit when we have the hose hooked up. Again, it's not ideal, and if we get on the road and we decide that's just not a good situation, we don't like leaving the door propped open, we just don't like that, it would be really easy for us to just take that apart, go back to using this system, get the bayonet style hose, and just swap out that system. So that's sort of what we're thinking and planning right now, is to use this Wastemaster. We've heard nothing but great reviews on it. So, you know, nothing always works out exactly the way you expect it to and plan it to. And when we were planning this a year ago, we didn't even know that this existed. We hadn't done all of that research yet. So that's our plan for now. We're going to give it a shot, and let us know what you guys think about that. If you guys have any suggestions or you know, comments about that, we'd love to know about it and hear it in the comments.
All right, time to glue this together. So one thing to consider is that we have to take into consider the orientation of these two guys. So what we want is when the square goes in, we want them coming out the sides, not up and down, because it'll hit the bottom of the bus. So go ahead and glue this guy on first, and then we'll be real careful when we place that one to make sure that the cam levers are allowed to open to the sides. So here we go. So we've cleaned all these off. They're nice and clean. Okay, so that guy's on there. So next, we'll do this guy, and we want to line him up so that he goes just like that. Okay. So I want it like that. Okay. All right, the drain valve and gate valve is now installed. So we have, so it opens up here just like that. We have the cap in right now, but to do these, we thought it was a lot easier to just go in, and then this guy just goes in there, and then that's it. So it's a lot easier. So now when we close the door, so we'll put a little block here just to keep it from closing on hose, but it's not too bad. So we'll see. If we don't like it, we'll think of something else. But this is the plan for now. I think this is what we're gonna go with. So this guy then would go into the, you know, where you hook in, and then you open the valve when you are ready to dump. So anyway, this is the setup we're gonna go with for now. We think it's gonna work out pretty well.